Coming up on Mountain News this morning, while many are beginning to pick up the pieces from recent flooding, one Leslie County community is still stranded by water.
And for those wanting to help flood victims, the Red Cross has a good opportunity this weekend here in Perry County.
And we have the latest on the recovery of one of the surviving horses from December's shooting in Floyd County.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning. The time is 6:32 on February 18th. I'm Madison Pergram.
And I'm Will Puckett. Thank you for tuning in to Mountain News This Morning on this Tuesday.
On this Tuesday, rain, go away. Wouldn't it just be nice if it just went right past us?
You just right over us,
yeah.
Packed up its bags and... Yeah.
Yep. Let's go to Brandon Robinson. Brandon, that's not going to happen today, but we can look forward. Yeah.
Possible.
Well, we can look forward to the sunny days ahead.
I'm gonna hide somewhere because you all just literally the bus is just going over me every single time you toss over here. That's right. So let's take a look and see what's going on. And they're right. More rain chances today. I wish they could go over us as well. We definitely need some drier days. If we had a 2-week stretch of sunshine and 75 degrees, I'd be a-okay with that. This morning, though, we're tracking some heavier bands of rain across parts of the area, especially eastern Pulaski County going into western Laurel County and eastern McCreary County going into western Whitley County there this morning. So just be careful out there this morning if you're traveling along 25W, 25E, and of course I-75 going into Tennessee this morning. Temperatures in the 40s and 50s area-wide. Y is the only spot there in the 40s. We're seeing 51 in Harlan, 52 Prestonsburg and Pikeville, pair of 54s Jackson and Hazard, also Williamsburg and Monticello, and 53 in London and Middlesboro. You see that wind shift back out between Owensboro and Louisville? That's kind of where the cold front is this morning. That's where you can see it with the winds there, but we're continuing to see that wind cranking out of the south, which is going to warm us up for a little bit today before we come crashing down later tonight. 56 is your forecast high this afternoon, and behind it, some much colder air in the forecast. I'll have the rest of that for you here in just a few minutes. Madison.
Thank you, Brandon. Well, we have been keeping you up to date on flooding across the region. Almost everyone is starting to dry out, except for one community in Leslie County. As
Buckhorn Lake's water is released from the dam, the community of Confluence floods, and the only way in or out is on a boat.
That is where WYMT's Connor James spent his Monday.
Okay, so it did start good.
After a quick test, this John boat is backed into the water.
How far down you want to come?
And off we go.
That's good right there, I think.
Magistrate John Newell and 2 others travel up and down this river.
Fortunately, we haven't had any medical emergencies.
They're bringing groceries to the dozens of homes blocked off here.
I'm hoping that any of them that hear the motor will come out. If they need something, will come out and let us know.
And we're not alone out here. This site
got a boat coming.
Has become kind of common.
Need any food? Okay, good.
For those who have them, boats are the main means of travel. But even then, it's dangerous.
Well, you got cables, you got stumps. One section there is a swinging bridge.
Cables like this can create some tense moments.
Oh, get it up, get it up, get it up.
We passed over this cable twice.
Yes.
But for the boatless, they sit stuck.
Checking on her, mate. Yeah.
Dropping off food.
Hello.
And serving some small talk is the most that can be done for them.
This helps us a whole lot. Around here, we can't, neither one of us on this family can't get out.
Delano Baker stocks up every year. He's one of the several stops.
Yep, that's the only way out right here.
Because as you can see, he's stranded. And it's a story we seem to see.
It does get frustrating.
Almost every year.
And I'm sure more so for the people that are down here. And
the story, though.
Yep. They know what to expect.
This community is hesitantly adapting to. In Confluence, Connor James, WYMT Mountain News.
Now, water levels have lowered since the weekend, and officials are hoping some people will be able to get out by later this week. Many local people and businesses contributed donations.
Well, our Steve Hensley talked with 90th District State Representative Derek Lewis about the recent flooding in Confluence and across eastern Kentucky yesterday during a taping of Issues and Answers.
You know, altogether, this has happened several years, and especially the people down in the Confluence Trace branch area of Leslie County, you know, my heart goes out to those people. And so When all this was happening, one of the first things I did is I had a meeting with the governor and Rocky Atkins, and they pledged their support on both the front end and back end in terms of emergency management.
Now, we also talked about some of the most discussed legislation in Frankfort right now. You can see the full interview on our website at WYMT.com.
And 2 groups will begin work later today to clean up after the flooding in southeastern Kentucky. Team Rubicon says they will be working with families in Whitley County. And the Kentucky Baptist Relief says they will be doing work in Bell and Harlan counties, as well as in Whitley County.
Well, crews continue to assess the flood damage in the Cumberland Valley. The Bell County Judge Executive Albie Brock says first responders have road crews have worked 12 to 14-hour days trying to keep the roads open over the last 2 weeks. Brock says based on the damage he has seen in other neighboring counties, he would be surprised if they did not make the federal threshold for assistance.
We're just starting to be able to do that, so it'll be a little bit, it'll probably be a week, 10 days before we come up with a firm, dollar number, but it's going to be big.
A continuing worry is possible rock and mudslides resulting from all the rain we've had recently. Now, for those wanting to help flood victims, the Red Cross has a good opportunity this weekend. On Saturday, there will be a training for potential volunteers that will take place at the First Presbyterian Church located at 160 Broadway Street in Hazard from 8:30 until 4:30. Anyone who wants to register needs to call 606-331-1097 by Wednesday. Lunch will be provided. Well, crews worked this past weekend to clean up what is left of part of a train that overturned in Pike County. One concern, of course, is that ethanol in the cars of the train would spill into the river. But as WYMT's Katie Cook reports, cleanup efforts are going smoothly.
Since Friday, workers removed all dangerous chemicals from tanker cars involved in the derailment, saying the water continues to remain clean. Once emptied, crews also removed the tankers themselves. But for one woman,
it's been stressful.
A work zone is now set up right outside her home with dozens of workers nearby.
We thought about bringing them all coffee, and I thought, I don't know if we'll be able to keep enough coffee for all the men. There's so many of them.
Although the construction is a bit of an inconvenience.
They got us in a room, but we can't constantly stay there. It's impactful. My kids go to school in Elkhorn. I'm having to keep my dogs in and out. It's hard to get in and out of here.
Collins understands that these people have a job to do.
And you don't want to complain because, of the situation, but it's been a mess.
3 engines are what is still left at the site, some of which carried 2 passengers.
Those men, I know that there was guardian angels with them that morning. They had to be in for them to make it. Had to be.
As cleanup continues, the community is still just thankful that no lives were lost. In Pike County, Katie Cook, WYMT Mountain News.
Now, officials say crews should have the engines removed at some point today. The roadway is expected to be repaired later this week.
2 women are accused of stealing from a Belk store in Corbin. Police say loss prevention caught Patsy Engel and Loretta Luthen stealing. They had more than $1,000 worth of merchandise. Police say Engel had slurred speech. She is charged with shoplifting and public intoxication. Luthen is charged with shoplifting.
And 4 people, including 2 from Columbus, Ohio, are charged with drug trafficking after a traffic stop. Deputies in Laurel County arrested Jason Frazier, Antonio Harlan, Patience Robinson, and India Hawk after a traffic stop on Saturday. Frazier and Robinson are from Laurel County, and Harlan and Hawk are from Columbus. Deputies smelled marijuana when they pulled the vehicle over and eventually found meth. All 4 are also charged with marijuana possession.
Well, we are still waiting on a court date for a man charged with murder in Harlan County. Investigators arrested Richard Cody this past weekend in Tennessee. He will need to be extradited back to Kentucky. Investigators say he used an old key to get into his estranged wife's home and killed Matthew Smith. Cody faces murder and wanton endangerment charges.
And it has been more than a month since 20 horses were found shot to death at a Floyd County strip mine. But from that shooting, several horses survived. One of those survivors is Knox, who has been recovering at Willow Hope Farm in Simpsonville. Those who have worked with Knox throughout the recovery process say he seems like an entirely different horse and is now more than ready to find his forever home.
It only took about a week for Knox to realize that people are okay, that they're safe, and that we can actually be his friend. He has this larger-than-life personality. He's very confident. He's very playful. He's all boy.
The Kentucky Humane Society is looking for an experienced owner to adopt Knox, and preferably someone who already owns another horse. If you want to adopt him, find out how to start the process in this story on our website at WYMT.com.
Rain gear will be a needed thing today as you head out the door. We're seeing some heavier pockets down into southern and southeastern Kentucky there this morning from Laurel County all the way down into parts of East Tennessee, so be aware of that. Outside WYMT, daylight breaking there in the distance, but cloud cover, if not already taken over, it will be before too long. Temperatures in the 40s and 50s, actually dropping a little bit, but 46 in Wise, 55 in Irvin. That's our range as you head through the first part of your day. Regardless, it's still anywhere between 5, 10, 15, even 20 plus degrees warmer this morning than it was this time yesterday. Your out the door forecast takes us up into about the 56-degree range. Some folks may get a touch warmer, some may be a touch cooler, but we'll see those chances for rain off and on throughout the day. Madison.
Thank you, Brandon, and thank you for joining us on Mountain News this morning.
Here's a look at what's ahead.
Coming up, we show you how a new study has determined that measles can lead to deadly complications beyond the disease itself.